Hello, everybody. Welcome to Headhunters Live, all you beautiful recruiters, headhunters, search for moaners, and other ilk. This is Headhunters Live. Today we have a great show today. We are
Because Neil's not here?
Because Neil's not here. Neil. So we're interviewing Chris Schwenk, and Neil, by the way. So it turns out he's a band camp right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least when he gets done, he can tell us about that time at band camp. Fill us in.
About that one time at band camp? Yep.
He's doing that right now.
For him, it's like every night at band camp. Anyway, so that said, Neil's not here today, unfortunately, but we do have an amazing guest, Chris Schwenk. Before we talk about him, real quick, I want to mention my other beautiful co-host, which is right over here on the side of the screen, Mr. Chris Wessel. So just the two of us today. What's going on, Chris?
Things are good. Can't complain. Yeah, I think I'll get to say more today. We'll get more in because Neil's always talking over the both of us. He just won't shut up. But I'm just kidding. He never gets a word in edgewise.
By the way, one thing I was going to say is I mentioned Neil's a band camp. I actually come up with a bunch of excuses why he's not here. Here are my top couple. Neil's dating app algorithm gained sentience and ghosted him. Neil's processing the fact that even robots swipe left on him. Anyway,
where's the third one? Yeah, the top. This is like Letterman right now with like the top.
Oh yeah, Neil's busy teaching his AI assistant the meaning of heartbreak.
Wow, these are rough. Your excuse generator is pretty harsh. I gotta go easy on
it. Neil is stuck explaining to an HR department why his cold calls sound like pickup lines. So yeah.
And we're officially off the rails.
All right. Well, let's before we bring on Chris, for everybody watching this train wreck of a show, do us a favor.
If you're still here,
make sure you comment live. If you're watching this live, if you're watching the replay, comment replay. Make sure you share the show with everyone that you know. Give us a like. Give us an angry face. We don't care what you give us. We want your emotion because that feeds the hungry algorithm. Okay, so please do that. And before we bring on our guest, I do want to talk about our amazing sponsors. First off, there is Back Office Staffing Solutions. If you are if you do any direct hire, permanent placement, retained search, whatever, and you want to start smoothing out your revenue, get rid of the dips, you want to start getting into contracting, temporary staffing, staff augmentation, temporary, whatever you want to call it, fractional, but you don't want to deal with the workers' comp and the insurance and the funding payroll. Neil's company takes care of the entire thing. Go to backofficenow.com. You'll find some of the best rates in the industry. You'll get a branded app that you can actually send to your clients and candidates for the timesheets and all that. So it's great platform.
For years, a number of times, and it's really, really simple. I mean, it's simple for the people using it, for the people that are billing and the timesheets and stuff, but it's also simple for us on our end in terms of just administering it. So not that smart. So if I can figure out my way around it, it's pretty good.
And I'll tell you what, a lot of folks will tell you that contract staff and temporary staffing is great when the economy is not doing that well. So if you're in a sector that is as well, sometimes the temp staffing may be the answer. So go to backofficenow.com. In addition, Neil wrote a book called the Smart Recruiters AI Handbook. You can go buy it on Amazon, or if you want to screw him out of a couple cents commission, you can go to backofficenow.com/AI and download it for free. Now, for those who don't know, I also am a sponsor of my own show. We build sales marketing systems for recruiters. So we'll keep this brief. I've helped over 600 search firms all around the world build sales and marketing systems. It is a done-for-you system, so you don't have to bang your head against the wall trying to figure out the tech stack. We do it all. Go to realdsp.me/system if you want some more information about. I've got some videos on that page that breaks down exactly what we do. And last but not least, you can also download my guide, the AI Proof Recruiter. Go to thedigitalheadhunter.com/AI-proof and download that for free. All right. No more promos. You ready to bring on Chris? Chris?
Bring him on. Let's get more Chris's in here.
Get more Chris's in here. All right.
2-on-1, just the way you like it, DSP.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Chris.
All right. Let's move you to the top. That way you don't have that name.
Nice.
There we go. Cool. All right, Chris, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for being here. I'm surprised you don't have a Christmas tree up behind you.
Oh, well, they don't have to know what day it is. We filmed this in late December.
Yeah. Sure. If you leave it up all year, it just
Merry
saves
Christmas.
Yeah. We batch film, so.
Well, Chris, welcome to the show. And I ask this of everybody when they first come on, just for the people who don't know who you are. Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm an 18-year recruiter, mostly tech, mostly staff augmentation, Fortune 500 to Fortune 1000s. Worked with every size company. I've done the kind of agency run for a while, and I currently have my own firm. I still have connections to my old agency because there's so much rec flow and everything keeps kind of like my finger on the pulse in the market. And 2 years ago, I started a podcast to do a couple things. Obviously, I wanted to make money on it. And I had a couple ideas on how to do that. I kind of took a course on, I wanted to make it its own business while it could feed me recruitment leads. So like, I wanted to make like the Tonight Show of, tech directors, management, executives. And, at the same point, I wanted to monetize it through, obviously social media monetization, affiliates, brand deals, all that stuff. So I want to do everything at once, made a lot of mistakes. And I know a lot of people in the industry, whatever they recruit for, they've thought about doing this, maybe something similar. So I can go through a lot of the stumbles I had and hopefully they can avoid those.
I think it'd be really good to hear about too, because we have talked about on this show a few times about the fact that, sometimes recruiters go in to do a podcast about recruiting. Here we are. But a lot of people do that. Doesn't really get any business, just a bunch of recruiters talking to recruiters, right? But like it's come up a lot that if you have a podcast in your industry vertical area of specialization or whatever, you bring on guests, people can't say no to a podcast, or at least so we think. We'll find out from you. And they could be either your clients or they could cultivate client relationships, build credibility in your space, right? But now we have you to kind of who's been living it for a couple of years, and it's gonna be interesting to hear about the whole journey.
Yes. So, I came into it guns blazing because I did have some sponsors right off the bat. About 2 years ago, the tech boot camp market was massive. Everyone wanted a remote job in COVID through tech. Okay. So these companies had just a ton of money, and I was getting, I got some sponsors. It was like $1,500 for an episode. I didn't have 3 viewers. This is how much money was being thrown around. So,
wow. That's a great way to start off.
Well, yeah. I was like, this is going to be easy. Well, as we know, nothing's that easy, right? So, I was kind of like, well, I'll work with these partners. They'll kind of pay for everything, and I'll also interview my ideal client. So, a couple things to be careful of. Really the biggest thing is, once again, I'm targeting Fortune 500, right? So, a lot of executives don't have the ability to do media if it's not approved, and a lot of PRs just like to get in the way. So that was stumbling block 1, where people just actually couldn't because it would threaten their job. So a lot of guests I want to have on just couldn't come on. Number 2 is it's slowly changing, but a lot, like you guys asked me to be on, I was like, yeah, I said yes in 2 seconds, because it's like you want to have me on a podcast, great. Some of these corporate employees, they don't have that mindset yet. They're not focused on personal brand at all. And so they're like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, oh, geez. Okay. This is going to be a little more difficult than I thought. So I also did everything in studio too.
You had them come to your studio? Like it's not like over. Oh, wow.
I did. Yeah. I did.
Did you rent out? Was there like a space that like had a studio that people could rent and by the hour or whatever? Did you build out your own, or as I've seen both?
So I rented studio space, and yeah, so it was, and the costs added up very quickly. So, and honestly, that was kind of a thing that was made difficult too, because a lot of people couldn't get there, and so then they couldn't come on that way. So, it was very costly for the first probably year and a half until I kind of figured out some things, which I would say it does increase your response rate. Like, rather than just say, hey, do you have any openings I could work? Saying like, can I be do you want to be on the podcast? And then I booked them on a pre-interview where I'm just like, hey, listen, like, I'm full disclosure, I'm doing this as a business development tool. So like, can you help me? Can you refer me to people if you're not hiring? Is there anything down the road you could do? So now I'm very intentional with that, because, some people I'd have on and then I'd ask for the business after, and then they were just like, out of what? Like, oh, that's what you want to do this? I'll see what I could do. So
I was doing it for the hell of it. But it's right. I feel like people sometimes would be afraid to maybe bring that up front. Right. But
yeah,
after enough goes south, now you're like, now I'm going to bring it up front.
Yeah. Well, I kind of don't care anymore at this point.
Transparency, I think, are pretty big. It's like when you go on a date, and you're platonic the entire time through. You're trying to be a gentleman, and you go for the kiss at the end. She's like, it's weird because there's no indication that you would ever do that. Versus, let them know that you're interested in getting down initially. So when you do ask for the business, it's not weird, right?
That's 1000% true. Yeah, like that analogy is perfect, and that's one I've thought about a few times.
So so now David's dates start off with DTF. Yes. No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does DTF
Before we
mean,
go
Chris?
to the steakhouse?
Department of Taxation and Finance, I believe. I don't know. Anyway, back to you.
Yeah. So
how to find clients that are DTF?
Yeah. Yeah, so like that was a big mistake. I would kind of caution people on, it will be a better response rate. It's not going to be, I thought I could just get every executive in town to just come to the studio like that. It does not work like that. It is more difficult, but the ones that get it will help you, especially if you're upfront, like, hey, listen, this isn't free. And some people have just been like, I can't help you now. I don't have the clout to get you in through vendor management. So like, I'll just chip in for the episode cost. And those are people kind of focused on personal brand as employees. I mean, in 5 years, this is going to be very easy because these people will get it now. Like the whole personal brand thing will be very obvious.
Because they'll want it for their own growth and their own exposure, and be able to have that as like a portfolio item on like their resume or their LinkedIn profile. Here's an interview I did. And it's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And that's how people will be getting jobs at these high levels now. It's like, hey, I saw you at this conference. I saw you on this podcast. Like, hey, when do you come in? We're looking for someone like you. So they will get it. It's still, 2 years ago, it was really early. It's still a bit early, but it can be very effective. Another thing this is like, so I'm crossing 10K subscribers on YouTube now because I started to, like, volume is so key. So now I'm doing remotes, trying to get, my goal this quarter is to get out 50 episodes, solos and interviews. And the solos are key to your growth and you becoming the industry expert, because I realized I'm doing these interviews and I'm just asking a few questions. So what'd you do here? What are your best tips? Like, I'm not the expert. I'm just the guy sitting there. But the solos can kind of reframe it as you are the expert. And like, obviously we have a lot of financial knowledge and job knowledge that we take for granted that, when I put it out on YouTube, people are like, oh, holy shit. Like, I didn't know any of this. I'm like, oh, okay, I should do more of this. And I have no financial connection to this app, but it's called vidIQ, which it will create your scripts for you, but it will take your channel and say, hey, this is highly searched right now, and there's basically low video output on this. So you should do a video on this right away. So my best video was on a technical skill called FinOps. I had some experience with it. I wasn't super knowledgeable about it, but they were just like, hey, people are searching like this for crazy, and there's no videos on it. So right now I have the it's not that great of an accomplishment. I have the biggest FinOps video like in the world with 55K views, which it's not.
But that's really valuable though, because if either enter into something saturated that everyone else is already talking about and get lost in the noise, or at least like stand out in an area that people are apparently searching for, but there's not enough content. Like is that what is that again? VidIQ?
VidIQ. It's an app website that just connects in. It's basically it's a wrapper on ChatGPT, but it's all YouTube focused. Wow. It's very good at like downloading your channel and figuring out what you need to put out, and it'll just give you tips. You can just talk to it. Again, it's just ChatGPT, but all their focus is on you and YouTube. So that's definitely one tip. Just pump out the solos too.
Well, I mean, you started though doing the interviews, and I mentioned for a lot of people watching this, like I've helped a lot of recruiters with their start to create content, and for a lot of recruiters out there, they're nervous to be on camera. They don't know what to say. They feel too stiff. So I think doing those interviews first will let them kind of get loose a little bit, get used to it. Because I know for me, when I first started doing videos back in maybe 2016, 2017, I was super stiff. I didn't know what to do with my hands. That was a big thing. I didn't.
Now, unfortunately, he knows what to do with his hands.
Now I know exactly what to do with my hands. Anyway, which is the reason why Neil isn't here today. But anyway, let's not talk about that. Actually, I believe it was a Brazilian wax gone wrong or gone right. It depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, it depends.
All right, Neil. But anyway, but all seriously, so yeah, doing that can help give you some training wheels, because you have somebody else there to kind of depend on, and really they could do most of the talking.
Yeah,
you can just ask follow-up questions and guide the conversation, right?
And what else did you do wrong too? Right? Like, what are some things that you're like, you placed some big bets and then they didn't? Because I know like the upfront with the guest was something you had to learn, right? To be like, oh, I got to make sure this is clear up front, obviously, and that's a big one, I think. But what else did you learn / pay for along the way?
Learn the hard way. Yeah. Well, well, there were a lot of guests that appeared to have big platforms. It was kind of a blend of tech influencers, because I knew that would, kind of grow me. And also, again, these executives that were really, obviously the highest ROI for me in the recruitment business. So, yeah, I mean, some people don't have quite the big platform that you think they do, which.
Oh, in terms of cross promotion, like having them on your show so that you get more reach, right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like a lot of those just fell flat. So that was a wasted expense. I focused a lot, back 2 years ago, short form, everyone was like talking about short form. It was the greatest thing ever. To me, it hasn't really moved the needle at all. It just, the long form, we're back to long form because that's where the trust is. And even, like I said, the mid form solos have been just huge for me, but short form doesn't really do much. No one knows what podcast it's associated with, even if there is one that does pretty well. They just keep, it's another podcast clip. It's so saturated that, don't go in assuming short form will blow you up is one thing that really shocked me. Because I had all these clips now. I had clips for days. And it's just no one cares. So. Yeah,
I've noticed, like, because when I'll scroll through like TikTok or Reels or whatever, I'll see there have been occasionally some podcasts, like long form podcasts, that like I saw short form enough that I was like, let me watch that one. And then I do, and then it's in my algorithm in YouTube, and I watch some, but that's happened with maybe like 2 or 3 total. The rest, sometimes you look at it, you watch that clip, you're like, oh, that's interesting, and you keep going, but it wasn't enough for you to go like dive deeper.
Right, to go find it. No, you're on to the next one.
Because you're in a situation where the attention span in that situation is naturally short, right? So like the person is just looking for like little nuggets, and unless they're really, really interested or they see it a whole bunch, they're probably not going to shift mental focus to like now, oh, let me go look for this, right? So it's
they're not going to stop scrolling, right? They just
it's a different type of consumption that they're doing. Yeah, it's interesting you say that though, because that's there's only like a couple that I've really ever dug into other than just flipping through.
Well,
and they don't. YouTube pays nothing on short form. Like, I mean, you need to just have tens of millions of views.
Well, and also our business, and we don't care about getting monetized by YouTube. And it's really about the deals that we can make and getting new clients, because we're in high ticket. And I will say that what I found that works really, that's fantastic, especially if you have a lot of long form content out there, is that you got a lot of people that listen to it, watch it, whatever they consume your content, whether it be over the course of a week or the course of a few months or the course of a couple of years. And one thing, you may have seen this as well, Chris, but I know for me, it's really amazing to get on a sales call, and I've never talked to them, never met them, but they know me. They know my stuff. They know my catchphrases, and they're ready to do business. It's just, let's just figure out if it makes sense to work together, and let's talk about the details. And I don't need to do the standard, I used to be a recruiter just like you. I don't have to build my credibility. It's already all built. We can just get down to business. And have you seen that? I imagine you probably have, but then you've talked to people that you don't have to sell yourself anymore. It's already done for you, right?
It's scary how easy it becomes. You've definitely sounds like you've experienced the same thing where like you're ready to give your pitch and they're just like, here's the card, like shut up, and you're like, oh, okay. Well, can I still give the pitch? Like, no, wait, no, never mind. No, just let me take the card. So, I was doing career coaching for a while. And before I got monetized on YouTube, I was like, well, how do I kind of pay some of this back? Because affiliates are, affiliates on, mid ticket or big ticket, we'll say, are very hard to convert because, again, they need 7 hours. They'll need 7 hours of watching you guys. If I'm your affiliate, I may not be the 7th hour that they watch to then book a call. So I've helped, but I don't get paid on that. So that was a lesson. The best conversions for affiliates that I've had are people's school communities, the small ticket to, up to 100 a month. And those have made me a couple grand, just putting the link on there, promoting people's school communities, and you're getting paid every month too. And, finally I am monetized now. So now, it took a long time, took a year and a half. And actually, here's one other thing. The shorts do not count toward the monetization watch hours. I did not know that.
Yeah.
And speaking of the monetization, and I'm not on the other side of this like both of you are, but like, what does the revenue mix look like? Like the monetization and certain things are there's probably different ways you make money, and it's probably varies across them. Like what are the different ways that it's monetized? And like how is it weighted? Like what's making you actually make more money than other things?
Yeah. So for me now, I'm making about $1,000 in YouTube monetization per month. So that's nice. And then again, the affiliates are, a couple hundred to 1,000 every month.
Okay.
And brand deals, they're inconsistent. I'm trying to get long-term ones.
Okay.
Kind of doing some, coaching on how to get those. But once you lock in a couple of those for, 10 to 20K for whatever, 6 months to a year, now it's a real business. And the nice thing is like, it's small numbers at first. I think my first affiliate paid me like $15. I was so yes. I'm wasting all this time. I could be like making 20, 30K placements. But it does, the exponential growth, like once you make $1 in it, now you can scale it. So that's what we're looking at now. I'm still at the 5-figure level, and hopefully within the next year we'll be well into the 6 figures. Just forget about converting recruiting leads, forget about any of that, just in the, the monetization kind of business, the media, it's really a media business.
Right. And your, the brand deals that was interesting. You mentioned that like the long-term ones were harder to get. And I don't even know how I would get a short-term one. So like, what does that look like? So, and is there a reason why some do short-term, and what is that? How have you come across some of those? And like, what's it look like? They want to, hey, we want you to promo us across a few of your episodes, or like, give us a little more context around like what that looks like.
Yeah, so I constantly have, I've used a lot of the recruitment tools like, Instantly and stuff. And I have, a couple campaigns just going for the brand deals. And, as you grow in subscribers and views, now you're promoting that to these people. And, and that's pretty much what you're pitching, and you're pitching your audience. I mean, you guys, one thing I didn't, I went so hard into the tech space because, I mean, again, when I got into it, there were so many tech boot camps. I knew a guy who made 7 figures on his podcast, just affiliates and brand deals, and it was all tech boot camps, and he was using that to fuel his growth. And, again, that's dried up, but for you guys now, I see all the rise in the recruitment tools and, like all the LinkedIn automation tools. I deal with Buzz AI, and I'm trying to make them a full-time sponsor, but we'll see. But
well, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So, like, let's say you mostly hire, HR people, which sounds like it would be horrible, but let's say you do, and like, so maybe then you're like, oh, like a certification prep program might want to advertise, right? Or let's say you're talking to IT project managers, and so like PMI courses and stuff might want to be your sponsors because all these project managers watching your show, or like that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's exactly what you should be going for. Yeah. Okay.
And then you use those small wins to fuel the growth. And then, once you get to, you're achieving like the next level, once you get to like 50K subscribers, now you're looking at like NordVPN type, the ones that are across every podcast, like Athletic Greens, and, and those pay out like 6 figures. So it's really just stay steady. And, the nice thing, I mean, we're kind of using this in the same way, because obviously you guys are trying to convert the recruiters for the high ticket, but that's kind of just fueling the growth, and you're putting on more episodes. And but for you guys, yeah, I mean, the recruiting tools are just low hanging fruit, like very easy with your platform.
Well, let's bring it back down to, I guess, the recruiter level, in the sense that if someone wants to start a podcast, so let's say your average recruiter here, independent recruiter, maybe small search firm, and they want to get their feet wet with a podcast. What's because we're talking about kind of like later on if they want to get mounted, but let's talk about like when they first start, like how would they go about getting their feet wet and actually getting this together? Because it seems, I'd imagine for a lot of recruiters out there, it seems like a monumental task in a field that they have absolutely no experience in, because they're recruiters, right? So how would they go about actually getting started?
Okay, getting started, I would say start an LLC, get the media business LLC, and
keep that separate. Because
keep it separate. Yeah.
Well, what I will say is that I think for a lot of folks, even if let's say they just want to use it as a way to promote their
whoever else they're trying to impress, maybe not their wife, I don't know, whoever, right? So like you're kind of giving them that good feeling, you're gassing them up as a star, and I when I saw the landscape, I didn't see like tech executives, people that have accomplished a lot. They were not being interviewed in this format. So whatever industry you're in, it's probably very similar still. Like whatever you recruit for, there's probably not a lot of the decision makers being interviewed a ton. Now, some of the tech people are on some like tech events that they'll speak on stages a little bit. But for the most part, you don't hear from them at all. So the people that like it really appreciate it. So as far as people starting out, start with your clients, use it as a value add to your clients just to get some reps and to get it out there. Download, one of the streaming tools, obviously, it's pretty easy. And focus on, one thing I'll say, if you're focused at all on YouTube, find a good thumbnail person, because that's been such a game changer. Like YouTube is not a video platform. YouTube is a thumbnail and title platform. Like when you make that shift, like YouTube is so different than the others, because Instagram, TikTok, you don't have to click anything. It just pops up in your feed. YouTube, you have to be good enough for them to click. And because of that, they pay way more than the others. So pay more for a thumbnail guy is what I would say.
Well, I'll tell you this. That's why on YouTube I see so many. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it, Chris. I know you've seen it. Both Chris, I know you've seen it. But you get the guy's face is
Yeah.
like it's so common because and I get it because it gets
Little
clickbait,
clickbait headline. You'll never believe
Yeah.
this. This is blah blah blah. Yeah, but that's.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you got to do.
You'll
Though.
never believe number 4. What's number 4?
Oh, yeah.
Stay till
Well,
the
this
end
one.
here or whatever. The top
Yeah.
reason it'll
Yeah.
blow your mind. But that makes sense
Or
though too, because
like-
I think about when you're sending out outreach. You know, people will spend so much time crafting an email, but then they have a garbage subject line, so it never gets opened.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's a subject line. Yeah. Because so you need to click.
Hook.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like
by the way-
it's like recruit so many people, it feels illegal, or like everything feels illegal or something. Like that's their new thing.
A great subject line that I get a lot of opens is the subject line of resignation.
Yeah. What?
It'll get you a lot of opens. Yeah, I had a client that did that as a few years ago, and his first line was, "If your stomach dropped when you saw that subject line, call me next time that happens," or something like that. I forget exactly what it was. It was really short. He got a lot of responses to that. Now, granted, that said, he's in a sales practice, and so he's dealing with a lot of folks that are in client facing, so they kind of get it. Versus if you're probably doing it to say engineers, probably not going to be or not won't have the same reception because they don't get the fact you're trying to get the open. But yeah, resignation. So feel free to try it with caution.
I may try that one out.
With caution. Oh, another one, bro, real quick, is also another of my favorite that I've used this one myself as well several times. Catchy subject line. Just the word catchy subject line.
Catchy subject line.
As the
Subject line.
actual subject line,
Because people that are in recruiters, whether in sales, get that. They're like, oh,
Right.
all right. So yeah, catchy subject line. So anyway, that's it. All right,
a good
sorry
one.
about that. Yeah, keep going. All right, so that's it. So start small. What about tools? Beyond just the what tools do they use?
Yeah, what's your starter kit, right? When you get
Yeah.
going, right? What do you need to think about? We didn't think about
Yes.
needing a thumbnail guy. It's a good point, right? What else did we not think about?
To me, like start with the thumbnail guy, then start everything after that. Like that. That's how vital it is. Like I've doubled my subscribers in like 2 months because I got a good thumbnail guy. So
Really? Okay, wow.
Yeah. It just puts so much focus on that, and just know that you won't know how to do like whatever you think is good. Like a real good, like my guy's in Pakistan or whatever. I made a suggestion. He's like, dude, I'm the thumbnail guy. You listen to me. I was like, okay, right. You do. And that one blew up too. So he was right. So yeah, thumbnail, vidIQ, it'll just do the descriptions, the SEO, the titles. You'll be able to split test the titles, all that stuff. Focus on audio first. They've done studies where like great video and like mediocre audio on YouTube for podcasts versus like perfect audio and kind of like shitty video, and like the good audio wins out because a lot of people are not like watching two people talk. They're doing something else.
Right.
So if the audio is bad, doesn't matter how great it looks, like they're on to the next thing. So yeah, I mean, this microphone was like, I don't know, $60. Like that's really all you need. So
Good mic makes a big difference. And it's not the size of the microphone, although I got a pretty big one. But it's not the size of the microphone that counts, it's the quality of the microphone that is most important.
Excellent point.
Thank you very much.
I would say start and then like, whatever, get a streaming, StreamYard, Riverside, that's, those don't matter that much. But also another thing I started to do recently was I'll take the whole transcript for a remote and I will put it to ChatGPT and be like, hey, tighten this up. And they'll be like, okay, the guy went on a little long here. Why don't you take out this paragraph? Why don't you take out this sentence? And it'll cut out 30% of fat, which really helps for retention, especially that intro. You got to nail the intro. And because when people click away, your average watch time just plummets versus when they just watch the whole thing. So maybe do a little editing, selective editing on the pod too, and tighten that. Beyond that, just get started and start reaching out to people. And it's going to take reps but again, you have to covertly gas them up because afterwards they have such a good feeling about you. And you basically have put a client relationship on fast forward or on steroid, like whatever analogy you want to do. So by the end, like you have all these clips of them, you made them look like a star, you gassed them up on the interview. It's like, now you're in with them. So
that makes sense. Well, also I will say, yeah, it's feeding the ego, I think is a big one. Everybody has an ego. You don't. In fact, it's how you get. It's how you can get a guest initially, right? We can talk about your how you got to where you're at. What tips can you give the younger leaders coming up, or so they can accomplish what you've accomplished, right? Everybody wants to be, not everybody, but a lot of people in the leadership roles, they want to be mentors, they want to be seen as experts, even the ones who maybe they're not thinking about the personal brand quite yet, they will be, because it is important eventually in your career. Well, the only one I want to dive into, if you don't mind me switching topics here, but I want to talk about career coaching. I know that you do, and you still do the career coaching, right? Or is that do you still?
I've pretty much sunsetted that business in 2026. Yeah. So basically, the idea was I have all these viewers, and what do you do with them? I didn't feel like starting a community yet. I was like, what would I even do on that? So I was like, I'll do career coaching. And the idea was take all the tools of the recruitment business and I will kind of get paid by those people. And now the outreach it's not even an NPC outreach. It is literally like, here is a referral outreach. So it's kind of like that type of marketing, but with the soft IT market, it was just taking me months and months to get these people jobs. Yeah. And suddenly, how much can you charge someone that doesn't have a job or does have a job but is unhappy? Can you charge it? I was charging people 3 to 5K, and you book a ton of sales calls and people just wouldn't be down for that. They wouldn't expect, people, the candidates didn't want to pay. So obviously always sell to rich people, which the richest people are corporations. So this year I'm just, it was taking too much time and not making enough money. So not doing too much career coaching. I think the business does have potential if anyone would consider that. That was my playbook. Take the LinkedIn automation and the email automation and just have their ideal potential customers, people that are hiring, and just say, not looking for anything, just looking to help this person out. So maybe someone can run with that better than I did, but I'm back to just hunting for fees and doing social media.
Yeah, it is tough. I will say I've got a few people I know do that. The biggest one is Tim Matty. He runs Executive Career Upgrades, and he does career coach. He was a recruiter, I think, and in 2016 to 17 or maybe 2018, flipped over. And I remember when he was just starting out, it was just him. He was hustling on LinkedIn. I charged people $2 or $3 grand. Now he charged, I think, $8,000. But he's doing I think his firm is about to do, I think 12 million last year. 11, something like that. Like it's grown. But he talks about things like the one thing that was really hard for them to dial in was like, obviously you got to get the folks who can afford it. And it's that really narrow band of the folks that are making 200, 250, 300K. And they've got a little bit of runway. Let's say, for example, below that gets really tough because it is. If someone doesn't have a job but they're looking for a position, it's really hard for them to justify to their spouse, for example. We're going to spend $5 grand when I've got no money coming in. That's a tough sell.
I think too, like as a recruiter, like because I had dabbled in it like a little bit, and then I kind of got away from it because I felt like it was kind of like you're shifting gears a lot. Like either are you doing recruiting or are you doing career coaching? And I think that if you are all in on the career coaching model, then everything you're doing is oriented around that. You'll probably do a better job of promoting those candidates or whatever. But I feel like if you're kind of trying to do both, I found it was like, it's like, I felt like you had to pick one. I don't know if you experienced similar.
Yeah, 100%. It was just taking way too much time. And again, in a soft market with a ton of candidates, I wasn't even, okay, it was free, but like, okay, we also have 1,000 free applicants here that might be better than this guy.
So then for you to do it, you're gonna have to lower your prices so that you're not charging these people too much money, which then means you gotta either do more of them or like now the ability to monetize it for you is just getting unrealistic.
And I realized it wasn't like, oh, 3,000, that's too much. Could you do 2,000? It was like, oh, I thought this was like $200. Like we were so far off on a lot of people. It just was never gonna work. I mean, the problem is I needed more wins early to do content on like, here's how we got this guy a job and just promote that. But ultimately it was just taking way too much time. And, I was hoping for a perfect scenario where basically a company I was hiring for wanted the exact person I was coaching, so I get double paid, but that also never came. So, I mean, I've been, this year I started on did you ever read the 12-week year?
Oh yeah. Many
I
times,
love that.
actually. Great book.
Amazing book. I recommend any recruiter because that's basically what my goal this first quarter is to do everything I did last year. So that's why I said I'm trying to release 50 episodes. That's what I did last year. And, basically as much money as I made in recruiting all last year. Again, softer market, so maybe a little easier to accomplish this, but I'm trying to do that in Q1 and just kind of breaking down what that would be. So highly recommend that to anyone.
All right. So with that said, then back to content, beyond the podcast, but just talk about content in general. So a lot of recruiters watching this. Again, my audience typically are going to be like your independent recruiter, small search firms, right? Not the big ones. So the folks out there that haven't done content before, thinking about getting into it, like what are some of the advantages in your mind with regard to creating content as whether written, video, whatever, and then and how should they approach the content as well?
Yeah, how should you approach? Well, I mean, again, I went in with the approach of I want to do everything. I want to make money off this, and I want it to feed. Like that's the ideal scenario, right? Because you can make money off of it. I want to make money. I want to get paid to get leads, right? So maybe you want to do it that way. Yeah, I mean, like that sounds good to me. Usually, you're paying with your time or a tool to get leads. I'm just like I want to get paid to get leads. And have leads come to me. So that's the ultimate goal with the content. I think you just have to, I mean, listen, some people, I mean, as you know, like some people destroy it with just written. Like I have not figured that business out. Like the written, you write some essay on LinkedIn and then all these clients come, like, I'm amazed that people do that. I'm amazed you help people do that, but it just hasn't happened. I post all my open jobs, which just gets a lot of, and the algorithms are, they're a little creepy, but they're so good because if I post a data analyst, like it's not going to send it to a Java developer. But every data analyst that is remotely connected to me, first or second degree, is going to see that post. So use the algorithm to your advantage for stuff like that. Some people don't like to post open jobs, but for the most part, you get a lot of shit, a lot of bullshit resumes and fake candidates in tech. But I walk into a handful of deals a year that I wouldn't do otherwise. So that's just kind of my thing of it, and it does grow your LinkedIn platform a lot by doing that. So that's kind of another way to speak to your ideal candidate. At least is you post an open job that they're fit for, they're going to send you them.
Well, when I had a tech staffing firm for 10 years, that was my kind of main marketing, right? Was I posted everything that we were working on, and it was a little bit of software, but it was largely like the infrastructure side of tech. It was network engineers, system engineers, help desk, desktop support, tons and tons of that, right? And so I always had all of them up on, and even if they weren't on like LinkedIn, my goal basically was that if someone looked at my website, because they look you up when you reach out, right? If they look at my site, if they're a job seeker, I want them to see that I hire for stuff like what they do, even if it's not dead on. If they're a company, I want them to look and be like, okay, this guy must know his stuff because he seems to hire for jobs like the job we have. So like you're saying, like I feel like that I rarely got any value from the actual postings, but in my mind, it was marketing. Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's what people are following you for, right? To get hired. And so that's what I'm providing them. And, I always liked to, if I could get my hands on anything high level, like executive level, those were such gold, because now my outreach, once I'm posting executive level role, my outreach to those people is, the response rate goes way up, because they're like, oh, hey, sorry, I missed this message before, but I saw you posted this director role that I'm a great fit for. Can we jump on a call finally? Like, oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
Well,
So,
what I found is that so when you post those jobs, they see that even if they're not interested in that role, they see you as someone who recruits for those types of positions. I know for me, so my industry was SAP. That was my niche for close to 2 decades, was SAP before I started coaching, and I wanted to start recruiting leadership positions, like director, VP, CTO. And it was really hard. And I always told my clients, look, I'll recruit for your leadership roles, and I never got them. And then I started NPCing leaders, directors, VP, CTOs. And guess what happened? I started getting those searches because they saw me. Oh, he recruits for these sorts of positions, right? And they slotted me into that sort of category. And so a lot of it is just being visible, showing what you do. If you want to get more of that thing, then show more of that thing to the world, and that thing will come back to you, right? So that worked for me. Just basically NPCing those positions.
Would that be you were emailing them, the NPCs, or you were just posting on LinkedIn?
This is back like 2012, 13, 14, kind of that time period when I started moving up the value chain in terms of levels positions in SAP. But it's about that time, when I would NPC, and it could be email, LinkedIn, phone. This is the typical NPC sort of campaign that you would do back then. Yeah. But it worked great. Again, it's just one of the things you have to, instead of just asking for, just demonstrate. It's demonstrate. That's why I love NPCs, because you're basically demonstrating the work that you can do, right? It's a free sample.
It's an example, just like when you take on a search and they give you parameters, and then all of a sudden they get much clearer when there's a candidate or two in play. Right? That happens all the time, right? So then all of a sudden, like, well, this hypotheticals we talked about, now you start fine tuning, and they're like, actually, we'd like more of this, less of that, once you have like an actual person in front of them, right? So it's like the same thing, just a little bit earlier in the process. When people have an example, it makes it easier for them to visualize moving forward.
100%.
Yeah. Very true. All right, so I think it's time for us to wrap up here in a minute. Chris, I want to ask you one more thing before we wrap. For people watching this that had a really bad year last year, there's a lot of folks who didn't have didn't have a banner year in 2025. What would you suggest looking into the new year, whether it be media, AI, content, whatever it happens to be? What advice would you give to them to have a better year in terms of client development, billings, et cetera? What can they do?
Yeah, I think one thing that a lot of people that I talk to in the business, you can kind of, it's kind of going back to what we were saying, the uninformed optimist. I had former colleagues like, hey man, maybe we should get into vending machines. I'm like, okay, like, what? It's like everything seems so easy.
Cash biz.
Yeah, but when you break it down, like, the problem is we're dealing with people, they're unpredictable, but guess what? Like, if someone breaks in your vending machine, that sucks too. Like there's things that suck about all those. Now the thing is boring businesses. I'm like, okay, like why don't you just double down on recruiting? Because I'll get another income stream, but like a client is an income stream. So maybe if you just do more of what you're doing, that's a new income stream too. And it's kind of like, we kind of discount that, where it's like, man, this guy, he's cash flowing, like I said, like vending machines, he's making like 500 per month per vending machine. I'm like, well, how many months would it take him to make one 20K placement, like the same amount? So I think don't get seduced by the side stuff. Like it has been a softer market, let's face it, the last 2 years, but especially tech. I don't know about some other industries, but like you could just work harder there. Like it's a much better use of leverage, and your time is to do more of what you're doing. And you're working harder and making less than 3 years ago. Like I know I am, but ultimately in the long run, that's going to help you more. So.
Excellent. Well, but beyond that, for the folks that are staying in recruiting, right? So, I guess in terms of more like content marketing, how to get more clients, because again, a lot of folks don't do any content whatsoever, right? They're just or they thought about it, and never did it. So, what advice would you give to them for those folks who are just starting out?
Yeah, I mean,
on that journey,
you have to be doing something. You have to be doing something. Like I said, even like posting jobs is content.
Yeah.
Right. Like we don't think about it as content. It's not, it's not like you're Mr. Beast, but it is content, and it is content that you can make money on, and you can make a lot of money off if that's all you do is just post your open jobs. Like people have to know you are a provider of talent and jobs.
Yeah,
like that's the most essential thing. You have to some way let people know that you have open jobs and you can fill open jobs. So at the baseline, post your open jobs. And I know a lot of people are doing a lot of the comments under people's posts on LinkedIn. Like that's content too, right? Like we don't think about that as content, but that is also content that you can make money off of. So just
don't. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
I was saying, but when you're commenting, for the love of God, don't be that recruiter that says, "Let me know if you need any help," because that is not adding any value. You look like a freaking moron. So
yeah,
just because you see a part of that.
Chris, what you said though about that being content is a good point. One thing I talk a lot with my clients about is that even the voicemail you leave for a prospect, that's a piece of content. Yeah, that's just a one person, but still it's a piece of content. The emails that you send out to all your top of mind folks, you're nurturing, all that's content. So yeah, everything that you do, anytime you relay any information out to the world, whether it be one person or the world, it's all content. It's all content.
Yeah. And my big thing is like, if it's a good idea and it just hasn't worked, then you just have to do it more, right? Like it just takes volume. If I was like, hey, I have a great idea, guys, I'm going to email a hiring manager. Like, great. Well, how many did you send? Well, I sent one today. It's like, okay, but it didn't work. Yeah. Okay. But you need more, right? So usually if it's not a bad idea, you just need way more volume than you're doing. And, again, like this is a great business. You can make a ton of money. And, obviously like, with, pods like yours and Ben Mena's and Top Billers Toolkit, I just recently did, like, we didn't have this 10 years ago. So if you're new, you have such look at like the library that you guys have. Like we didn't have any of this. I mean, I used to, like, in the agency world, you'd be like waiting for the manager to come down the elevator to go to lunch with you, and you kind of like side eye like your competition. Like there was no sharing of information. There was no brotherhood in this kind of world that now, basically like podcasts and YouTube have created. So now like there's sharing of information. I didn't tell those people like things I was doing. I didn't know what they were doing either. Now people will just freely give it on these free platforms, which is incredible to me.
You're in your cubes and you're like trying to like hunch and like not have anybody hear what you're saying or whatever, but you're also trying to listen to what they're saying to see if I'm like, yeah.
I remember when we used to go to conferences. I want to go wrap it up here, but I will say this: we used to go to these conferences. This is back pre-LinkedIn. Back with I was with MRI, and so back when you go like the pace setter trip, whatever. And on the pace setter trip, you're out with your you meet new recruiters. You go drink, maybe gamble a little bit, smoke some cigars, talk about these war stories, what you build, but you never ever would say a client name. You'd be like, oh no, I can't do that. But now, I mean, no clients are secret. No information is secret. It's all out there. You just got to take advantage of it. For sure.
And there's enough for everyone too. That's the thing. Yeah. It's like we had such a scarcity mindset when you have your competitors because you only know them and you're competing for the same client. But now there's so many things. I didn't know you could ask for a retainer. I didn't know that was a physical possibility to do until these type of platforms came out. I was like, wait, they're going to pay you up front? Why would they do that? Makes no sense. Now you hear people talk about it.
Yeah, it's very true. It is amazing how you could just
yeah I know it was a little bit of a cliffhanger there. I'm sure. Hopefully we'll be back in just a sec.
All right, folks. Well, hopefully Chris is able to come back. Oh, there he is. There he is. Hey, Chris, we lost you.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Well, we should probably wrap it up here. Anyway, we are about to turn into a pumpkin So, Chris, I really appreciate you having you on the show. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. For anybody who wants to connect with Chris, you can connect with Chris at here. I don't want to make you. There we go. Connect with Chris on LinkedIn. That is his. We'll drop the link down in the comments below when we air this, but it's Christopher Schwenk, and that's SCHW. On LinkedIn. You can also check out his links at link.me/tech jobber pod. Yeah, there you go. Anyway.
Yeah.
Chris, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate you having you on.
Yeah, this is a lot of really good information.
Yeah.
I'll go start a podcast.
Thanks. Yeah. Get out there. Do it. Get the thumbnail right.
Yeah.
All right, brother.